Recorded July 8th, 2024. Good morning, Rod. Good morning, Ray. How are you?
Good morning.
Doing fairly well. Just coming back from what I like to refer to as the Amish flu or the Amish superbug. I've been off the show for a couple weeks and apologize to everyone. I felt so horrible. Actually, I didn't feel quite as bad last show, but I lost my voice, and you would not have appreciated that.
You could have just etch-a-sketched your thoughts during the dialogue.
How do you know how I work? How do you know how I work? That's what I do anyway.
And just a piece of paper, write it. Yeah, man. You've been sick before and powered through, and all of us have. This is the first time I see you like not work. I say it must be. He must have the pox.
I thought it was me. I was like, darn, I'm not. Rod's like, I can't even. I can't.
Every time Ray shows up, I just want to turn my camera off. Yeah,
that's what happened. Yeah, it's that feeling of illness overtakes you. Bottle me up. I'm the new military weapon secret.
Yeah, there you go. Drop Ray behind enemy lines and watch the magic. That happen.
All of my exes would agree. So there we go.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to mention this. I'm going to get a little personal. I wrote something, and so this released while I was actually sick, so I've not been able to talk about it quite a bit. I actually started my career as a fiction novelist, and now I'm starting to get back to it again. So if anyone is interested in sword play and all that weird stuff, Sword of the Shattered Kingdoms, the first book, because there's many more coming, by the way. So,
well, dude,
that's incredible. First of all, what was that?
I was about to say, as much as I thought I knew about Rod, he knew I love science, fantasy, and fiction. I got like every Dungeons and Dragons book.
So this is absolutely Dungeons and Dragons. It kind of reinvents the whole thing. But speaking of sci-fi, I have another book coming that is 100% UFO / sci-fi / World War II tie-in.
Did you find my diary, Rod? Is that what?
Yeah, probably.
We've uncovered the Ray pyramids. We've finally found that secret chamber. Yep.
My goodness. Rod, did you say that you reinvented Dungeons and Dragons lore? Did you just casually you were like, no big deal. If anybody's into sword, first of all, you've written another book which is technical in nature, right? And then no big deal. Just want to like get a quick mention, and you have a fantasy novel that you've authored. And if you're into sword play, like it's bigger than that, right? Like
it's a little bit bigger because the subsequent books that follow, so the main characters of this story, they will each all get their own prequel because this is just one part of the story. The rest of it is the lead up to this story to figure out how everyone got to this point, and then there's a story afterwards. So
that sounds like a book I've been writing for 20 years.
Me too, right? Yeah.
There's another series with aliens, which like that's my life. I'm convinced I am an alien. So that's a whole different franchise that you're establishing.
And this one's super interesting because it's if you think of, so I've had these things in my brain for years, and I've mapped all this stuff out. The whole stories have been mapped out. Now I just finally figure out I have a little bit more time, not really, to kind of finish these things. The other story is as Adolf Hitler is getting ready to commit suicide in his bunker, he's abducted by aliens to take and help conquer their galaxy. And now he's coming back for revenge. That's
very Vonnegut. That's very Douglas Adams. Were those the inspirations for this brain baby?
That's just very Edward, like a hard bender night. I've been on a bender, and I just think on the next day started writing.
Sorry, this is not about me. It's not about me.
No, it's about all of us. Because how do you capture all of the dimensions of nerddom just casually, just like, oh, here's this technical guide that I've put together. Here's a fantasy adventure that just put that out. And there's going to be prequels. Like those are in the pipeline. And then we have this other the digital creation, right? Like the just around UFOs, Adolf Hitler for some reason, and bringing it all together kind of as an homage to Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-5, Hitchhiker's Guide, just all of the greatest hits of nerdosity coming together.
Have you seen my background? I'm a super geek. So yeah.
Well, we'll have a show dedicated toward that, right? Because we'll make it science fiction is only fiction until someone figure out how to make money. Then it becomes science fact. Point blank. This is proof of that. Yeah. Dick Tracy. Now you got it. Hey, it was a crazy week last week, and it threw me off. Right? We had a 3-day week, and then some people started getting ghosts. But 4th of July was last week for those in the United States, celebrating the day Will Smith liberated us from the aliens by putting a 0-day exploit into a totally random computer that had no endpoint protection. Go aliens! But Independence Day, right? But we have a really, really great guest. So really quick, I didn't do anything. I took Thursday off and Friday and tried to get some mental sanity and health back. So it was a short week, but I got some good stuff I'm gonna work this week. That next week I'd like to talk a little bit about the show. So, but hey, we're already 10 minutes in, and to get any time from this special guest is a blessing. So we don't want to miss our blessings. So
well, and I apologize. You can tell I've been out for 2 weeks. So.
Yeah. Hey!
So we'd like to invite to the show. I'll actually allow her to introduce herself because she could probably do it so much better than I. But I love this person, and I think you have to admit that as anyone that follows Microsoft, our customers, our partners, anyone outside of Microsoft, even internal, I'll tell you. But we all follow this person. We all know this person. We all love this person. That's why we think it was so super important to have her on the show. So welcome, Heike. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you. Yes, I'm still a little confused by your previous topic. So I was like, where did I end up? But yes. Hi, my name is Heike. So like hi and then Kevin. It's not Heike, it's Kevin, Heike. I'm back in Germany since 2 years. I've been to the US 8 years. And yeah, I'm on the customer experience team and focus mainly on readiness, internal as well as I hope external as well, to help customers understand our features better and how to use them, share the news. And yeah, that's me.
Well, and I think it goes a little bit more than that. I think you're being super simple trying to describe yourself. You do a lot of things. I think you touch a lot of things at Microsoft, at least that our customers know, right?
Literally next time I'll let you help me write my connect, because I'm always very
I was
shy
the first co-pilot. You just feed me the data and I'll regurgitate all of that co-pilot information. But no, so what maybe we should start with what don't you do, but I don't know. There's probably a longer list. Let's see. I think you still manage our monthly public-facing Microsoft security newsletters, right? You do that.
Yes.
Right?
So there's two. There's one that's called Monthly Defender News.
Yes.
Which contains almost all the defenders. But Defender for Cloud, they have their own monthly news. First, it's such a big beast. And it was not in my org and under my team at that time. So that's why I didn't include it. It's a little bit, I don't want to share org chart externally, but sometimes it is what it is. You manage the products that belong to your team. So aka.ms/Defender News, it's a blog post that summarizes all the things that we basically delivered or created in the month before. This could be webinars, blog posts, new documentation. Often we have new features that don't have a blog post, and people might not even find them. So I'm trying to put everything together. I love if someone has suggestions on how to make it bigger, or add additional value. So always open for ideas.
Great.
Yes.
So there's the other things, right? So we got the news, which I read all the time. So thank you for that. And I know our customers do. They absolutely love that because it gives them, a month of nuggets instead of having to go source and figure out everything themselves, which we should consider. Maybe we should actually use Copilot for security to pull that stuff in. We'll talk about that later. But you also do these, which I did one with you recently on Copilot for security prompting. You do a series. Well, what are you in, like season 3 or 4 or 5?
8 is coming now.
Season 8. Oh my goodness, I've missed a few. So you do these virtual webinars with a lot of our product teams, right?
Yeah, let me actually share the story behind it. So many people know the Ninja blogs, and you have on your blog post, Rod, the list of all the different Ninja trainings that we have. I think it started with Sentinel, and then someone told me we need something like this for Defender for Endpoint, just because it's huge. It's a huge product. And so I wrapped my head around it and worked with a team to get this MDE Ninja up and running. And then I thought it would be great if we walk the people in like a webinar series or like a show through that content. And I requested the budget, and then I don't know, 2 years later, the products changed, and I had suddenly it was Microsoft 365 Defender, now Defender XDR. And yeah, I started with MDE, but of course I had to include different products as well. So, but the idea was to walk them through the Ninja training, hence the title, Virtual Ninja Training. So now I wouldn't say it is based on the Ninja trainings anymore, because, I know there is a new feature coming up. And so I tried to catch that product manager and discuss. And most people say that I ask exactly the same questions that they usually have in mind. So otherwise, we stream them at a certain time, and then people can join and ask questions, and we are answering. There's actually one coming up after this show. Super excited.
Which one is that?
It's the season final. And we are discussing the general availability of our unified security operations platform. So Defender XDR and Sentinel coming together. So today is GA. And for that reason, we did a Ninja episode.
Today is GA. Really?
Today is GA.
I didn't mean
At least that's what I got told from marketing. So I should not stream my episode before July 8th. So today is the day.
Yeah, but the date, that's awesome. So you're here to actually sell it. We can celebrate, and you can announce that. So that's awesome.
It's a big milestone. It is.
Yeah.
Of course, you could use it before, and it was available for customers, but it is for many customers important that it reaches that GA milestone and not be in public preview. So many customers are testing it, but they would not turn it on in production before it is GA. So I think this is huge.
Now, when you say GA for this is when you consider the unified, this is more the XDR plus theme or XDR plus Sentinel. This is the GA for those two things. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So, we always had and still have the connector to get your Defender XDR data into Sentinel. But now we are connecting Sentinel, and all the features are from Sentinel available in the navigation. So people don't have to go back and forth, because even if they used Sentinel and they had the Defender data in there, if they wanted to drill down into an incident or an entity, they hopped out, right? So they had a different tab, and it was not very like efficient. So now they have all the data in the XDR portal. Yeah, see, it's ready.
That your unified
And
scene and XDR is ready.
It's ready.
I'm ready to go.
And they have additional features. So they have advanced hunting, they have that incident and the attack story and all these things that are already available for the XDR customers. They're also available now for the Sentinel customers.
Look at that. That looks so super familiar. Look at that.
And what I was impressed the most about is we are not pulling the data in as a data set in the different database. So it's basically the events, alerts, whatever you see from Sentinel is in Sentinel, but we show it live to you. Similar to, I don't know if you know that integration we have with Microsoft Intune, where people can use the security policy settings now in the Defender portal, update them, whatever they want to do, but it is the live view from Intune. So that was, so why should we store it twice? And, no, this is just, wow. It's the same. I see a question here, Vpool. Need to know how RBAC is governed in unified portal. So we respect both RBAC. So the most restricted view or permissions you have is what you actually see in your portal, whatever portal it is that you're using.
Well, that's super nice. I have to tell you.
Really cool too, because inside of the search feature in Sentinel, you have a restoration, option to, restore data to investigate archive tables for some reason. I know that was a big ask from the Sentinel side when I was on that team, but this is really cool. It finally manifested in my lab, my own personal lab, so that's very cool. Very nice.
So here's the other thing I think that might be interesting, people need to start thinking about or considering, is because Sentinel also is now in the XDR console wholeheartedly, right? Instead of just bits and pieces. We're going to have the opportunity to allow Copilot for Security to access that data a little bit more natively, right?
Yes. There's someone saying like the video is on loop, and someone was saying, I thought I'm really getting this point. So, loop, always the same. So, yeah.
Oh, he sorted it. He figured it out. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's another thing, right? So we have Copilot for Security in the Defender XDR portal, and you have now a summary that also includes your Sentinel data, which is, wow. I mean, everybody come and join us after that at my time in 6 p.m. Germany time. It's 9 p.m. a.m. Redmond time.
What's the short URL for the
so I think the shortest one is aka.ms/ninja show. And otherwise there is a YouTube channel. And I also have it on my LinkedIn. It will also stream on X. Oh, wow. First time I'm not saying Twitter. Wow. I'm really keeping myself here together.
Good job. Did a good job. You're advancing. So, yeah.
Yes. There's so many things that, and we even ran out of time with Javier. And so we Javier's will do more and go better more into the demo. So yeah, this is this. And what else?
Well, I think, go ahead, man, Edward. I'm sitting here just hogging up everything because I can finally talk again. So, Edward, you go.
I listen and try to go to each one of the little snackets or breakouts that you have. How do you go about choosing? Because I think one of the best ones you put on was the vulnerability management one. I went back and I listened to it like 4 or 5 times. So how do you choose topics? Because there's so much built into the capability of all the Defender products. And then I'm gonna ask a quick question here that hasn't been asked in a while. So how do you choose a topic when you want to do those those periodically trainings that you do, and I forget the little name that you had. It's Ninja something. So how do you go about that?
Do you mean the internal one or now the Ninja show?
Both. Let's go with the public facing person.
So for external, I mean, it's always a teamwork, I would say. So there is multiple options. So sometimes the product feature owner reaches out and say, "Wow, I have something coming up, and do you think?" Now they come because it's on for a little while and they know the show. So they ask if we can do an episode. Another one is marketing reached out because they know there's something coming up and would be good if we discuss this publicly. Or I have a little readiness V team, and the V team, we talk and think, hey, what can we do coming up in the next quarter? What are some topics? And I look at the monthly news that I'm writing, putting together, and say, wow, this sounds interesting. And then we built a little calendar. And I work with Javier. And I said Javier earlier, the episode is with Tianda and not with Javier. So apologize again. I even called him in the show, I think, Javier, which wasn't good. But
that's endearing.
Yeah. So no, because when Sentinel joined, I had no clue about Sentinel. So I thought, hey, it would be cool because he had Sentinel in the field to join and then discuss Sentinel content as well as Defender content. So we are two more people that are coming up. And internal, it is, I'm kind of the grandma of Defender for Endpoint.
Grandma.
The grandma. So when I moved to the US, long story short, my manager, she asked me if I want to take the new feature in Windows, which is currently being developed. And she told me something about malware, and I was like, wow, that sounds interesting. At this point, our Defender brand was not a strong brand. It was like, and the perception. So, but anyway, and then the engineering team from Israel came and they presented the Excel spreadsheet of the idea that they have to build that product. And 2016, we launched it. And it was at this time, Windows Defender ATP. So I even have that little thing.
That's cute.
Oh, that is awesome. How do
cute? That is extreme. So I would say probably because I'm relatively still new, right? There are people who've been 5 years at Microsoft. They're still considered new. I'm going on 3. You're like this magical architect, right? You establish a learning series and an educational empowerment series, both internally for folks across different disciplines. And then externally, you're known globally. Heike, like they're like, oh, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to listen to what this person says, right? How, like the origin story of like this is a very mature series that you've created, right? This is a very mature brand that you've evolved. You have a team that is engaged and aligned on your mission, and it's to empower the customers, right? Like just to make sure that when people say something, it's accurate. Like I've been on those internal calls, and you're very straightforward. Like that's not actually, I'm not understanding it. Let's get clearer. I love it. They're like, yes, internally, right? And that means that we show up better, right? And we can support our customers better, more effectively. How have you been able to do it? Because as you mentioned, this is a behemoth of a company. There's so
I wanted to get to that point because of second question from Edward, right? So when I started, and then we shipped features and I remember I created that slide deck with our RS1 feature with Defender ATP, which was this 3 items, and then we just think. So we decided with the engineering team that every time we ship or like we move a feature from private preview to public preview, meaning it will become public knowledge, we need to educate the field because they can get questions from customers about that feature. So it's basically built into their development cycle. So every time they want to move a feature, there is a checkbox. Did you write a blog? If it was big enough for a blog, did you do a field readiness event to educate the field? So this is how it developed. I never wanted to make this or want to make this about me. It's not about me. It's about the product. It's about customers learning about things, and internal the same. But because I do this since 2016, basically, or 17 with the education internal, it is a Heike thing, but it's not that it is about me, right? So I'm just, for me, readiness is so crucial for everyone who wants to like work with a product, but also our technical sellers discuss with our customers a technology. You can't do this if you don't know about it. And now I lost my point that I wanted to make next.
How were you able to make it a cohesive movement? Because it's not about, oh, we have to go to Heike's thing. However, right, it is your passion that infuses those initiatives.
That was my next point exactly. I love community. For me, you know, I started at Microsoft a long time ago, and I was a specialist in SharePoint, which was also a platform to collaborate and to share. And then I moved to become a technical evangelist, which was an amazing job at Microsoft. So I was at conferences and I did videos self-made at home and all kind of things. But I always liked sharing and helping people to understand things. It's just me. And the same internally, I'm always open if someone has a question, if someone doesn't find anything. I know you can Bing and you can Google, but usually they come to me because I know where the video is. They know where the documentation is and such. I'm very, how do you say this? Like open,
yes. You're very approachable.
Approachable.
And you make the content accessible in across various dimensions. And for somebody like you are very prestigious, again, both internally and externally. You will make time. Doesn't matter if they joined Microsoft, the day before, or if it's a customer that has a question. You will meet with them, and you'll make sure that they have the information they need to be successful in whatever they do. And so that, I guess, that's something that you can't necessarily teach, that spark inside, but you can continue to hone it and inspire others. So that I am a follower of the Heike way. That is the way.
Before Microsoft, I had my own company and I did training. I did all these Microsoft official curriculums, and I was a Microsoft certified trainer, and I delivered this. But I also got, because I wanted, you wanted a job every day and be out there and train. So I took whatever was requested. And I had a lot of beginner trainings as well because I was hired by training centers. And I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't repeat the same thing over, and because the next week I didn't know, did I already say this? Because it was the same training that I delivered over and over again. But it was always my passion to help people. That's how I got to it. Like one of my best friends long time ago, he told me, you need to become a teacher. You just showed my sister how to swim. You are so good and you have so much patience. Like, okay. That's how it started.
Well, and I think it's also important to kind of highlight that it's not the Heike show, but at the same time, our customers in particular, they gravitate to where they're going to get the best and most help. So they know that you are highly approachable and that you're a part of all these things. So they're like, well, I'm going to go find the things that she's part of because I learned something, going back to being that instructor, teacher type thing. I learned something. And the other thing is, I think important is that you actually participate in all the different modals of learning. So you do the newsletter, you do the video, because as much as I have seen with our customers or just community in general, everybody has their own way to learn. And it seems like you're putting all those together in some fashion.
Yeah, and even Rod, we have these Microsoft official certificates and the official learning path.
Yeah.
And all these little videos, they're also made by Heike. Or like coming out of the Heike factory. So we call them short and
Heike
sweet
factory.
videos.
Mama Heike. So, unfortunately, I have to leave a little bit early today.
What?
My wife has physical therapy, so
Okay.
we put all our business out on this show, so everybody sort of keeps up with what's
Yeah.
going on.
It's
But I'd like to
emotional
ask you this
therapy.
question. Yeah, emotional support show.
Yeah.
We haven't asked it in a while, and you haven't had the right people to ask, so I'll do it. Of MDCA, MDO, MDE, and MDI, which is your favorite?
So you forgot the XDR.
No. I did it. MDE,
It's-
MDI, MDO, or MDCA or MDA. What's your favorite? This is all
So
an inside joke.
MDCA and MDA is the same.
Yeah.
So I think it's not fair, but I'm an MDE girl. Like I come from the MDE world. I know this product when it was an Excel spreadsheet. I just know much more still about this product. But all the products are being developed by amazing people, and I love to work with every single one of them. So this is also why I never wanted to change. Like, it's like, oh, should I maybe do something new and go to the Azure world or go to somewhere else? Like, no, I want to be with my Defender people because I love them. It's amazing to work with them. And so I think MDE, just because, again, I'm the grandma of MDE.
The grandma MDE. We got to put
Grandma
that
of
in.
MDE.
MDE.
The marketing grandma. Sorry, the marketing grandma.
It's it is a running joke within the show. When we first started, if you listen to some of the other shows, you know where it comes from. I should have excluded MDE. We just tried to do it to see if any product group people are listening, right? But hey, everyone, I have to drop off the show a little bit. Get out of here. Hi, it's so good to see you. Thank you for coming on the show.
All right,
Thank
Edward.
you.
Give our best
Talk to you later.
And notice
right.
I won't do a Brody and go to the upper right and hit the.
Don't
red
do that. Oh, don't hit the big red button. Please don't do that.
Goodbye.
All right. And now we can talk about Edward.
Yay!
He's gone. No. So that I think we have a good understanding. I don't think we have a good understanding of everything you do, because we could probably sit here and you could go through your day and you would pick out things that we had no clue that you actually do participate in, because you said you're from customer experience. You obviously work with customers as well, right? So does a lot of these topics, the videos, the ninja trainings, the newsletters, does a lot of that content come from your working with actual customers?
So I do not work with actual customers a lot anymore. I need to say, unfortunately. So I saw an opportunity popping up where I might go back a little bit, talking to customers. There's one little project that I do twice a year. We have our semester planning coming up internally, where the engineering team presents all the things that are going to do in the next semester. So highly secret. And it is always at Microsoft, it is just how it is, like next, and faster, move forward. So what I do for a few years now is I interview customers, and I put together for each product a little 2 minutes video where customers are sharing how happy and excited they are about certain features. And it's a really nice moment for it. There's so many people listening to the semester planning that don't have customer contact, and maybe they wrote this feature, like a developer and they're like, oh wow, this is my feature. So it's a very emotional moment, and this is when I talk to customers, and this is every time a year, like these twice a year, and I was like, damn it, I miss this.
So I don't want you to call out the actual feature, but was there during one of those sessions a feature that was called out that just literally everybody hated? Did you have an instance like that? People were just like, oh my goodness, if you put that into a product, I'm not using it anymore.
Not a specific feature. Sometimes it's so funny because you ask them about, and they want to start positive, and then they're like, but it's like, I don't need a but, guys. Like, it's,
they're so nice. They're so nice. Yeah.
Yes. It's like, oh no, this is great. And I really use it, but it could be. It's like, oh, don't. I was like, I'm here for the positive feedback, and you have another CXE engineer for the negative feedback. This is not the meeting about the negative feedback. But no, I had this a year ago, I think, when I started to interview about a specific product, and they're like, let's not talk about this product.
Oh my goodness. I think in some respects that may remind me of something that we're working with right now.
But it's so cool. I interviewed one person and I asked about Copilot for security. I said, oh, wow. Yeah. No, I don't. Maybe we should use that. It was so sweet.
Well, and I think that's super important too, because I think, in respect to the things that you do, customers sometimes they don't understand the true value of these things until we actually talk about them. And it's I hesitate because sometimes we do talk from the Microsoft side of things because we love it. We're like, this is great. Oh, come buy our stuff. But at the same time, every customer is also going to use our tools differently because based on the needs of their organization. So that's another thing that you do is you expose those additional features that they may not even think about.
Yeah. And it was like I did an episode with Maria, Gloria, and Bailey. And we talked about Copilot for security, but there was also confusion about, okay, is this then the same with like Copilot for Microsoft 365? And so we clarified this. But I also asked every single girl on that call, what is their favorite feature? Like when do they use Copilot for Microsoft 365? And I learned so many use cases. I was like, wow, cool. I'm using that now.
Yeah. Everybody kind of has their own way to do things, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm going to ask my last question, and then I'll probably ask more, but then I'll turn it over to Ray. But I had this because I wanted to tie it together. You said, I don't know what show I joined right at the beginning, but there was a reason for that, and the reason why I wanted to kind of tie all this together. So I mentioned that I started my life, I actually did, as a fiction author, but then based on my desire to write, my passion for writing, and then of course, life took over, and I became let's just call it a technologist, if you will, because I've been down many different technology paths. But that's where that kind of led me, that writing and stuff like that. And I'm kind of gravitating back. So, but I had never in my life thought, at least in the beginning, and this was, 30 years ago, that I would be in security or cybersecurity. You and I talked today about our good friend in Misa, who started life as a ballroom dance instructor. Did you start life with the thought that you would eventually be in some cybersecurity customer experience? I mean, what was your goals? Where did you start? Where did you come from other than just a little acorn nut or something?
I'm old, so I have a long way.
You can make it up if you want.
I never wanted to be in front of computers. I always wanted to, I don't know, work with horses, be outside, do something, fresh air, but not. And then I wanted to become a physiotherapist, work with people, for me. And I had to wait a year to get into that program. And then I started to work at the company, and we built a an online sports portal. It was sport.de. And at that time, it was way too early. It was 1996, 97 or something. And, we had all these sports results and we wanted to offer customers to send them to the mobile phones and stuff. Way too early. This is now the new thing. So it was .com crisis 20.
Yeah.
20,
Looks like it's a sports betting thing.
What was it? But I learned HTML. I learned XSLT. I learned XML, XSLT, like JavaScript and all this stuff that you need to build a homepage. And we had servers, but we had 2 people working as administrators. And they knew I'm always curious. I always wanted to know how all of this works. And they every time told me, do not push that button on the server. And one day they left and the server didn't run anymore. And someone told me I should press the button. I was like, fuck, I don't press that button. And then I learned it was NT 4.0 at this time. And I did a migration to then 2000, like Active Directory. It was crazy what I learned. And this is where I started to be a computer person. And I liked fixing things. Today, if the printer doesn't work, I'm throwing it out of the window, buy a new one. Like, I can't deal with that problems anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody does that with printers these days. I don't even know why anyone still prints, but that's a whole other
So
argument.
and then after that, basically, it was the .com crisis. The company had to close, and we sold the domain at RTL. Probably everybody knows the RTL TV channel. And I was looking for a job. And my friend told me I should become a teacher because I'm good in teaching kids how to swim. So and then I did all these trainings to become a Microsoft certified trainer. So
Yeah. And so that, I guess, led you to Microsoft eventually, right?
I was an SharePoint expert. I don't know why, but I was. And when SharePoint was migrating to Moz, they had hundreds of unassigned support cases. And they needed a support person. And I joined support, and I always had a Bill Gates branding somewhere. And
because you like to fix things, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. I like the Microsoft stuff. And then I remember when I joined the Microsoft headquarters in Munich, I was like, oh, wow. I was all fancy dressed and, ready to start my job. And they're like all in flip-flops and whatever. And they're like, oh, it's your day. You're joining today. Yeah, we don't have a computer for you. We don't have a password.
Oh, no.
That's what you think when you join Microsoft, that they're like not prepared at all. So I was allowed to sit at the candy table and just wait for things to happen.
Candy table. So there was actual candy there, I'm guessing.
Yes. No, that was great.
Did you help them optimize their onboarding process so the next person would have a smoother experience? I'm wondering.
No.
No? Okay. Because I would imagine you would be like, hey, this is what I experienced. I think to make it an even better onboarding journey. Because I could see
at this time, I didn't know when a new person joined. Like suddenly there was a new person. Like it is not that I think maybe I would have helped, but then suddenly there was a new person. So okay.
I got a joke for you. Great. What do you call a person in a Microsoft office who's dressed up? A new hire. There you go. Just made that one up.
Well, I would say, especially if you don't have that experience, right, of like the big tech. And this is like the biggest thing in your life and like your biggest career milestone. I would say you're not desensitized to this is Microsoft, right? And even coming, previously from AWS, my first day at Microsoft, even if it was virtual, it's like, holy cannoli, I made it. And every day you're showing why, they made the right decision bringing you on. So I would say for somebody that, kind of taught themselves, and you had a community around you and supporting you, Heike, but you had to be proactive and invested in your own success and take it seriously. It makes total sense why this is a big deal. I'm going to show up, and this is what you do when you've made it. But you've been making it happen every day since then, and you do it with your own spirit, your own energy, and you don't have to fit in to this idea, this stereotype. When did you realize that, I'm going to be successful inspiring other people? I'm going to be successful connecting with customers. Like, I know partners and customers do reach out to you, and you make sure they get to the right person. Because I've been on, you've sent me emails like, hey, there's a question, can you help? So you are like the nexus, right, for folks to reach out to. When did you realize I'm going to be really powerful and successful, and I can do it just being myself, showing up as myself, and there isn't anything that I have to like pretend to be or a bar I have to meet. I'm just going to be me.
That's a cool question, but I think I never think about these things of like me, wow, I need to be successful, I need to be this and this. It's like, for me, when people reach out to me, sometimes just random, and say, hey, I wanted to say thank you, this helped me a lot, I started 4 months ago and I watched all your thing, this just makes my day. Like, I'm not, I'm bad in this. I should, you want to, at Microsoft, you want to have that career, but also job levels, and then you get more money and all these things. I don't think about all of this. It's super weird.
That's actually super cool, because when you think about what time this is at Microsoft, this is the beginning of our new fiscal year, which you talked about earlier, was like, we're always having to increase, always having to improve. We have to evolve everything. We have to always be better. And that's that impact is what they talk about at Microsoft all the time. You have that impact, but at the same time, you're very super, maybe it's not a forced humble, but you're very humble about, I'm just doing what I like to do.
Yeah.
And
that's what maybe it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah,
just because I like what I do. It's
you're not trying to impress anybody. And I think that's why, because again, I see, internal meetings, and it's just as professional, but you hold people accountable for what they say and how they show up. And if you chime in, it is so well received, because I think it is so obvious and so palpable that it's, hey, we are customer focused. Like, we need to make sure that this is crisp, it makes sense. And it is easy for people to believe in that, right? And like to participate in that and internalize it. Yeah. So I think the fact that you're not trying to feed into anything other than just showing up as yourself and being passionate about the things that you're sincerely and genuinely excited about. People are like, I can be me too. This is okay. And like, this is the way, right? So I think that makes a difference.
Yes. And I think this is how you can enjoy it the most, if you are yourself. I remember there was like a long time ago, a training that someone did, and I was participating. And there was a person constantly nagging, like, oh, you can say this because you are the trainer here and you earn a lot of money. I don't like that stuff. And like, so why are you sitting here? Why are you learning this? Why do you earn your money? It's like, oh, I love to do balloon flying, or whatever he did. So then do this, like, and go and become a balloon fly trainer or something. Do something that you like and not be forced into. It's not always easy to say, right? You can't just change and just do something. If I could, I would have a sanctuary for animals. Like, that would be me. I can't do this now, but yeah, I think on the flip side, and this is always the challenge that I think we all have with these kind of assets that we create, Rod, myself, is how do we measure the impact that it has? You know, I'm talking about a new feature in an episode. Is now someone more using that feature because of that episode? I have no clue. I see that, I don't know how many people watched it, but that, and you know, giving that measurement back to engineering is sometimes, so if someone has an idea on how I can measure this, please help. But this is the thing, right? I see views, I see likes, I get nice messages, but how is that tied back to the usage of the product and the improvements of the product? Super difficult.
Yes, absolutely. How do you, and that's the thing, right? So as a teacher, and I'm just going to go back, you know, I'm going to use just general teachers in the schools as an example. You never know what seed it is that you plant, and you may never ever see the fruition of that, you know, that growth. But at the same time, you can't stop doing that because that is you. That is exactly what you are, and how you promote yourself or how you live your life, I guess. So.
Yeah. And you know, I wasn't always the same. I got calmer, I got older. So
No.
You have more vitality than lots of recent university graduates. There is just so much energy, so much passion, so much like interest in seeing folks shine, right? And making sure
but, you
that
know, look at you. You're like all giving me all this nice positive feedback. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like, you know, I'm here red with my red cheeks, and like this is so
Yeah.
wow, touching that
You didn't
someone
know this was your celebration, did you?
it's refreshing.
But yeah, I think it's great sometimes to kind of get that. I feel it's actually a blessing for me to be able to ensure that you know all this stuff. So, but how do you pull together that impact, right, and figure out, hey, I'm actually doing something here.
Yeah.
I wanted to share this real quick just for everybody that is live. That show is actually in 4 minutes, the one with the GA for the Unified Portal with Javier.
No, Tianda.
Oh, Tiander, you're right. All right, I did the same thing. I did it too. Tiander will actually be on there. Okay, so that's in 4 minutes. You don't have to actually be on there, do you?
No, it is. So we do the Ninja show, we pre-record it, and then it will all be cut nice together, and we put all these nice ninja cats flying around, and then we stream it live. So we will be in the background to help answer questions. It's streamed on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. And yeah, hope there's some questions. Oh, stop it. So,
oh, wow. I'm going to take the day off after this. So.
Yeah. And yeah, so no, it's not live. It makes things for presenting, asking questions. I often ask, like similar what you said before, where that intern, like, I don't understand this, so explain. I do the same, and of course, and then I was like, okay, let's take this again, and I will ask you this. And so I don't want to make anyone look bad.
No,
people say they appreciate it. I'm a nice host. I make them feel calm, and that's again everything that counts to me. That people feel good.
Yes. That's a talent. Not, it's very easy to say, oh, I don't get it. Like it's a problem with how it's being explained, but that's not what you do. You say, hey, like, let's pause. There's confusion. It would probably be worthwhile for you to talk through it again, right? And maybe think through how it's being framed or positioned. So I think that's magic. That's a real talent. And to be able to say that and have people ask for, like, do more. Oh, give me again, Heike, tell me, I don't know, tell me that you don't get it so I can re-explain it. Oftentimes people are like, oh, I don't want to do that, right? So for you to be able to have that talent of helping people understand that they can be better, encourage them to do better, and they are able to accomplish more. That's why you're Heike. That's why you are like a fixture in Microsoft and externally, and people look to you, and you are an inspiration. And get like as a woman in tech, and it's not, there are things to navigate there. You make it look easy, and I know behind the scenes it's not easy to have your own series, to have a brand, to have a team that supports you and making that happen. You had to work for it. You had to be passionate about it. You haven't shared with it, but I appreciate that you've had to overcome hurdles to make it look so graceful, to make it look so effortless. Oh, yeah. And like, thank you for that. Thank you for showing us that example.
Yeah. And you can't forget that the people that I have on the show, they think like, oh, wow, this show has like, I don't know, 2,000 views. Like, oh my goodness. For them, I want them to feel good about it. Yes. I want them not to like they're already nervous enough because they know it will be out there and people can watch it, and they need to actually review their own show and all these things. So, and for me, it's just, oh, okay. And even if I stumble, I don't ask them, can I redo this? I couldn't care less, right? But I want everybody to feel good.
Yeah, it's not like our show where everybody sees our dirty laundry. We air it out weekly on this show. We rarely cut.
I'd love to join more, but this is usually at my, 11 p.m. or something, right?
Well, there's the replay. Maybe we should change. Maybe we should switch.
I think we should have a more like inclusive. We could have options and then bring Heike on, and I think that that's important because you have a lot of expertise, wisdom, guidance, and just being that example. If you can't see it, then you can't be it. And so it is truly like inspirational to get to connect with you, and you've done so many incredible things, and you continue to do it. And then you work through other people for them to be successful. So that's pretty awesome.
So we are at the top of the hour. Thank you so much, Heike, for being here. And I started this show out by saying, I just love you to death. I think you're awesome. I'm going to leave that there because, we want to exit the show with your face as red as when we started. So that's the only reason why I do that. But it's been awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I know, people see you in public all the time with these webinars and the other things that you do, and they see you as you in those roles or in those moments, but it's always super nice just to know you and hear a little bit more about.
And I'm approachable again. Yes. If someone wants to talk about, I don't know, we have football going on, right? In Germany, it's like European Championship. Germany is out, Italy is out, Portugal is out. So I don't know anymore whom to root for, but there will be or anything. I'm on LinkedIn, on X, Teams, whatever. Yep. So please.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in this week. Hopefully Edward, will be back next week after he had to. No, I'm just kidding. He'll be here. Edward's always here. We show up and can't seem to get rid of him. But hey, next week we have, and I think this is a guest of yours, Michael Maloney.
Malone, yeah.
Malone. I thought it was Maloney. So okay. So he'll be on next week talking about obviously cybersecurity and all that good stuff. So
yes, he's the hunter. He is
the dude. Yes.
And everybody needs to be awake for that. He's like fast and awesome and like goes. I don't know where you're going with the topic, but yes.
So I'm a little scared now. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you are in good company. Like Heike, it's wonderful to go from Heike to Mike, because Mike will go technical, real deep, and Heike brings it all together, right? So now we're gonna go down the rabbit hole, Rod. It's gonna be an adventure. I'm excited for it.
Excellent. So everybody, tune in next week, and obviously, if you're just listening in and you didn't join live because we were on at a different time. Hey, maybe we'll consider doing this more normal in the future. But at the same time, if you're just listening in, please try to join us live. You're able to ask questions, make comments. There's actually a lot of value to doing so, even though I know a lot of you just listen to this in your car on the way to work. So, but I appreciate it. Thank you again for joining us today, and we will talk to everyone.
Thank you, Heike.
Next week.
Thank you, Dr.